Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katie. Today's video is going to be another one brand testing video, and that brand is Rude Cosmetics. So yesterday I got a notification saying that I've been in contact with someone with COVID and I have to self-isolate now for 8 days. So I guess that means I can film some videos, and yeah, I really hope that I don't get COVID. So yes, I have a whole lovely box full of products from Rude Cosmetics. So Rude Cosmetics, right, they do have a UK website, but the UK website doesn't have like all of the products on it. It doesn't have all the products on, it's not got like the full range, and you know, I really wanted the full range. So I decided to actually get it from like the US website and just get it shipped from there, so then I could basically pick whatever I wanted. Now the delivery was very expensive. I believe it was £29. However, I did then find a coupon code that was basically about the same price as the delivery. I think it was like about £27. So basically the coupon kind of paid for my delivery, and like my total order altogether was like £90, and I got a full face, and I feel like that's not that bad. Like I've like spent more than that on one brand before, and like literally, and it hasn't been shipped from abroad. So I think like when you like change the currency to pounds, a lot of the makeup is actually like super cheap on the website, like cheaper than from like the actual UK version of the website. I feel like overall it probably did actually work out cheaper to get it from the US than it did if I was buying it from the UK website, and I obviously got more products to choose from. Yeah, I'm really excited to give these products a go. I feel like I don't really hear a lot about Rude Cosmetics. Maybe watch like 1 or 2 videos from like probably like over a year ago of people trying it, but honestly I don't really hear much about this brand. But when I looked on the website, I just feel like I liked the look of the products. It is quite an affordable brand. I mean, like a full face of makeup for £90 in my opinion is quite reasonable, especially because there was a £29 shipping pound on top of that. So you know, I feel like that's actually pretty affordable considering I have probably about like 18 products here. So let's go ahead, let's get started. So I think I'll start by testing out the concealer like I normally do. I believe they have two concealers, and I remember because on the UK website they only had one of them, and I feel like I liked the look of the other one better. So this is the Sculpting concealer, and I have it in the shade Light. I have to say this brand is not the best in terms of shade range. They definitely need more choices, that's for sure. But this one looks like it is going to be quite pale, so that's what it looks like. It's quite cute, quite small. The doe foot is actually quite big, I would say. Yeah, the shade is definitely pretty pale actually. I feel like that is a good brightening shade for under the eyes. I'm going to go ahead and apply this on my under eyes and my eyelid on this eye and see what it looks like next to a bare eye. Okay, so that is it side by side. I wouldn't say it's amazing coverage. I feel like it's just like a solid sort of medium coverage. I definitely can still see my veins coming through quite a bit, and I can still see a bit of discoloration under my eye, so I wouldn't say it's full coverage. I do like the shade though. Let's just get it side by side so you can see them compared. I'm gonna look up and down. I wouldn't say it's full coverage. It has got a decent amount of coverage. It's not like non-existent coverage or anything, but I wouldn't say it's amazing coverage, but it's done an okay job. The formula seems, I'd say it seems fairly matte, to be honest. It is quite creasy under the eyes. Yeah, having some creasing there. Meh is my thoughts on that. Just meh, really. I'm gonna wipe this off my under eye, and I may as well use it as a base for eyeshadow. Okay, so I've used that concealer as an eyeshadow base. So to move on to eyeshadow, the palette that I picked up was this one. This is the Roaring 20s Reckless palette. They have absolutely loads of eyeshadow palettes. I was pretty spoiled for choice, to be honest, but I ended up settling on this one for no particular reason other than I liked the colours and I wanted something that wasn't too similar to a palette that I already had. So it looks like this. It looks like this. It's quite colourful. Got a lot of sort of greeny shades. You've got some blues. You've got some like warmer shades. Yeah, I've done a few swatches of some of the shimmers, and some of them look absolutely stunning. So I am excited to give this a go. I did also end up getting this little palette for free. So this is the 70s palette, Electric Fantasy, and I like that it comes in this cool little triangular packaging, and this is what it looks like. I mean, I wouldn't have picked this out. I didn't really want it, but I just got it for free, so maybe I will try it at some point. Some of the shades look quite nice, but yeah, it also looks pretty. There are some nice looking shades in this actually, but it's just a bit of a random colour story, to be honest. So I'll leave that for another day, but we're going to stick with the Roaring 20s palette because that is the one I actually bought and wanted. The part of me thinks I should stick with the green shades, especially because I have got a kohl eyeliner that is a green, so it would all match up. So yeah, I think I might go for the more green end of this palette today. Obviously I will play around with the other part of the palette over the next few months. But yeah, I'm going to go off camera and do one eye, and then we will repeat it all on camera on the other eye. Okay, so we are back with an eyeshadow. These greens have performed like immaculately. These are so good. I'm so impressed. The mattes just were pigmented, blended like a dream. The shimmers are stunning. As you can see, the green side of this palette is like faultless, amazing eyeshadow quality. So let's go ahead and do that again. We're starting with the shade called Mojo, which is this sort of like olivey green shade, and that's just going above the crease area. And this has fantastic pigmentation, blends amazingly, really good green shade. Then underneath that I'm using the dark green matte called Hot Dog. Interesting names. And that's just going underneath that, kind of just all over the bottom half of the lid really. Again, amazing pigmentation, amazing blendability. Honestly, these are like some of the best green shades I've ever used, I think. Okay, so now we're going back to the concealer, and I'm going to do a cut crease in the centre, sort of like a halo eye kind of effect. Then in the centre of that cut crease, I'm using the green shimmer called Cut a Rug. This one here, it's absolutely stunning, and that's going mostly in the centre. And then on either side of that I'm using On the Ritz, which is a darker green shimmer, which is also stunning. Okay, and we're just going back to the earlier matte shades to do a bit of blending. So I've done a pretty awful job with my symmetry here, but that is often what happens with me. I'm using this shade called Feathers, which is just like a matte sort of creamy shade, and I'm using that just to blend out under the brow bone. Okay, so I've just cleaned up the edge of the wipe and I tried to make them as symmetrical as I can, but they're not. The symmetry is incredibly off. However, I do actually really like this eyeshadow look. I thought all of the shades were beautiful. These shimmers are stunning. Those mattes are amazing. Wow, I'm really impressed. This is some of the best green shadows I've ever used, I think. I can't wait to try the rest of the palette. Definitely want to try some of these bright like pinks and reds and oranges. And yeah, there's definitely some combos I can get here. There's definitely some looks that I can do with this palette, that's for sure. And I know I can get a green look, but I wanna see what else I can do with this. Yeah, based on the shades that I've used, really impressed with this. Fantastic quality eyeshadow. I can't speak for the whole palette yet, but obviously I will do an updated review on this once I have tried like pretty much all of the shades. But if the rest of the palette is anything like these shades I've used, then I am incredibly impressed. Fantastic eyeshadows. Now, like I said earlier, I do actually have a green eyeliner that I can put in the waterline. This is their micro retractable eyeliner, City of Flashing Lights, and I got it in a shade Turn It Up. So these come in like quite a few bright colours. I went for a green one, don't know why. I mean, I do like green, so that's probably the reason why. And it is a retractable one. I did also get a black kohl liner from them, so this is their I Have a Secret creamy gel liner, and this is in the black shade. I think this comes in like brown and one other colour as well. So what I might do is just use this like on my top waterline and then use the green one on my bottom waterline, and I think that should work okay. Hopefully they don't bleed into each other too much. Start with the black one. This is also a retractable one. So I'm just going to pop this on the top waterline. That's definitely got good pigmentation. It was a little bit awkward to apply because the end's quite pointy, but I think once it flattens out, it should be okay. But it did feel a little bit uncomfortable, but it's definitely got good pigmentation. So we're going to go in with the green one now and put this on the bottom waterline. That looks really cool. I love the effect of it. It goes great with the eyeshadow I've done. You do have to build it a little bit, but once you do, it does have really good pigmentation, and as you can see, it shows up super well. Really like that. So moving on to mascara, I have got the Look at Them Curves mascara. I think they had 3 different mascaras. I honestly didn't know which one to go for because I didn't look at any of the reviews or anything. Probably should have in hindsight. But I went for this one. Don't know why. Probably because it had like a curve to it, and I tend to like mascaras that have a bit of a curve to them. Yeah, packaging looks like this, very sleek, and as expected it has a nice curved wand. So I'm going to curl my lashes quickly and then just whack a load of this on my top lashes and see what sort of volume we get. Okay, so that's what the mascara looks like. I feel like it's done an okay job. Like, it looks alright. It did take quite a lot of building to get there. I feel like it's quite lengthening, and you can definitely sort of see the curled effect, which I think is quite nice. It's got an okay amount of volume, but it could be more. I think like it looks decent. Like, it looks pretty good, but I don't know. I don't see this becoming a new favourite, but obviously I will keep using it. Might get a little bit better once the product's like kind of dried up a bit or something. It's done an okay job. Like, my lashes look fine. Yeah, I'm not obsessed, but it's okay. Okay, so we're going to move on to base now. The foundation I have is their Double Treble Foundation Plus Concealer. I've got mine in the shade Ivory, which I think was the lightest shade, but it was a little bit difficult to work out because they had like all of the shades listed like out of order, so it was kind of difficult to tell what was the lightest, what was the darkest. It was just confusing, but I think I figured out that this one was the lightest shade. The shade range again though was pretty awful, to be honest. Okay, so the shade looks quite orangey. I definitely feel like I'm gonna have to put some white mixer in with this. It's just very orangey looking, so I am gonna go ahead and put some white mixer in with this, make a little concoction on the back of my hand, and then we will shove this all on my face. Okay, I've added a bit of white mixer in, hopefully this will work okay. It's quite a thick consistency, that's the first thing I'm noticing. Okay, so that's the foundation applied. I feel like it looks like pretty decent, to be fair. It's actually given like a pretty good amount of coverage. I would say like a sort of medium, I'd say sort of like medium buildable coverage. I feel like it has covered my blemishes pretty well, to be fair. I definitely feel like it strikes me as more of a matte foundation. Like a little bit of my oil is coming through, but it's definitely got more of a matte finish, I would say. It's looking like a little bit heavy. And I wouldn't say it has the most smooth finish I've ever seen from a foundation, but it doesn't look too bad, to be fair. I feel like it's done a decent job. I'm not obsessed with it, but it's done an okay job, I would say. Okay, so we're going to go back to the concealer and add a little bit of that. It's more of like a brightening shade, but I'm going to have to use it over blemishes as well because it's the only concealer I have from them. Okay, now for setting powder, I actually ended up with 3 powders. So the first one I've got is the Studio Finishing Mineral Powder in the shade Translucent, just like a white translucent loose powder. I also got one of their Stop the Press powders in the shade Porcelain, which looks like this, and it is a pressed powder. And the shade does actually look pretty pale, so hopefully that should work for me. I also got this because it looked kind of interesting. It's the Puff the Magic Powder Mineral Setting Powder, also in translucent. Just like a sort of stick powder, and it has like a brush at the top. And I think that the powder's supposed to like go on the brush and then you like tap it and set your face. I don't know, it looked kind of interesting. But obviously I can't use all of these powders today, so I think I might skip on this one today, because it's kind of confusing. I'll use this mineral one under the eyes, and then I'll use this to set the outer parts of my face. I did also get one of their microfiber sponges, so I probably will use this to set my under eyes, because I like using fiber sponges to set under the eyes. It's very soft, very fibery. Okay, so I've got some of the mineral powder, and I'm going to use a sponge. I'm just going to use this to do my under eyes. Okay, well I do like this sponge for powder. I'm not sure how I feel about the actual powder though. It looks a little bit patchy, and it does seem to like have oxidized in places. So I'm not sure I'm loving that, to be honest. I don't think it looks the best. But we're gonna go ahead and switch to the pressed powder and use that to set the rest of the face down. Pressed powder's definitely done a better job than the loose powder. It looks okay, it doesn't look amazing. I don't feel like it has the smoothest, nicest finish, but it's done an okay job. It's mattified my face. The shade has worked decently. It's done an okay job, but I don't love it. I feel like the base overall is just like, it's okay. It's not awful, it's not amazing, it's just okay. Okay, so we've got a few cheek products here. So the first one I have is called, so I have one of their duo shade face palettes. This one's in the shade My Other Half. It looks like this, and I got this because I thought that the shade on this side, I thought that looked like it'd be a really good contour shade, and I think it will. And then obviously you've just got like a corally sort of blush as well, which looks pretty, so I thought like this would actually be like a cool like contour and blush palette. So that looks cool. Also just got a standard bronzer and a highlighter. So I'm going to start with this shade here, and I'm going to just see if I can contour my nose. Hopefully this works. It looks like it's going to work. It looks like a really like kind of light cool toned brown. So I'm just going to see if I can do a little bit of a nose contour situation with this. I think that's come out okay actually. I think it's done the job. It seems to have blended out okay. I think it comes out like a little bit deeper than I thought it would, but now that I've blended it, I think it's done an okay job. I'll come back to the blush in that palette a little bit later. But we're going to go to the bronzer. So this is their Go for the Bronze bronzer, and I got it in the shade I Gave It All My All. Again, it was kind of really difficult to tell like what the lightest shade was, so I have no idea if I actually ended up picking up the lightest shade or what. But it looks like this is a matte one. I think the other shades were more glowy ones. I have no idea if the shade is going to work, to be honest. I feel like it might be too dark, but let's just give it a go. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to go ahead, use this bronzer, which I feel like this looks like it's going to be too dark. But let's give it a go anyway. Chisel out my face. Okay, it's actually not that bad. I thought it would look worse, but actually like when it's on the face, the shade isn't too bad. It's not the perfect shade for me, but it's actually not that bad. I don't feel like it looks too dark really. I think it looks okay actually. Yeah, I'm actually more impressed with that than I thought I would be, to be honest. Let's give that one a blend out too, though. Yeah, I was quite skeptical of that, but actually, I think that's actually worked decently as a bronzer. Yeah, not too bad. I don't feel like it looks too dark. I feel like it's blended out. It's blended out fine. actually kind of impressed with that because I was skeptical when I looked at that, and when I put it on the brush I was like, that's going to be too dark, but it doesn't actually look that bad, to be fair. So I'll do highlighter next. So this is their baked highlighter, and I got it in the shade Divine Self. And it looks like this. I have swatched this already, and I don't feel like it gave off the most pigment. It seemed quite sheer, but then it also strikes me as one of those highlighters that maybe you have to dig down in the pan a little bit before you get a good pigment. I mean, it's got a little bit of something. It's not like non-existent pigment or anything, but I like the shade, very like pale gold sort of shade. So I've just wiped the excess highlighter off this brush, and I'm going to go ahead and apply this all over. I have a feeling that that mineral powder I used under the eyes may be the type of powder where highlight doesn't show up very well over the top. I've got a feeling. So the cheekbones might not get the best show, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm not really getting much here, but I think that's probably the loose powder's fault, more so than the highlighter. Yeah, definitely, because I put that on my nose and it's showed up way better. In fact, I think I put too much on my nose. Yeah, I'm really not getting much on my cheekbones, but literally everywhere else I put it, like here, it has actually shown up quite nicely, to be fair. So yeah, obviously I need to try that out with a different powder so I can actually get like a decent cheekbone, because it showed up a little bit, but not a lot. But my nose cubes and chin are like quite intense, to be fair. So yeah, I feel like this could be a nice highlighter, but I need to try it with a different base combination, I think. But the shade works well. It looks quite nice, actually. I think I've put too much on my nose, though. My nose looks a little bit cray-cray. I'm going to go back to this little Face Duo palette, and I'm going to use the Coralie shade as a blush. Oh my god, that is really intense. Okay. Yeah, it's quite like a sort of orangey kind of blush. Okay, that is quite intense. I hope this blends out. That is intensely pigmented, so I really hope this blends out. Otherwise I'm going to look strange because I put it on my nose as well. Okay, it's blending out, so that is good. And once it's blended out, I actually think it looks quite cute, quite rosy. I quite like it. It's not the normal shade I'd go for in blush, but I quite like it. I feel like it's quite a healthy sort of shade. I like it. It does blend out, but yeah, bear in mind, it's very pigmented at first. Overall, I feel like those cheek products were pretty good, actually. Quite impressed with the cheek products. So we're going to move on to brows now. Now, I have actually tried their brow gel before in the past, like probably over a year ago now. It will have been on my channel at some point. I didn't really like it. I just thought it was too thick, too pigmented. The brush was too big. It had so much excess. I just really did not like the brow gel that I tried from them. But I do have a pencil to try out from them. So this is their Teeny Weeny Micro Eyebrow Pencil. Love that name. I got mine in the shade Neutral Brown. So I'm going to use this to just fill in my whole brow, might as well, because I don't have any other brow products in them. So I'm just going to use a clear brow gel first, just to brush through them and give them a little bit of moisture. So yeah, it is just sort of your standard micro brow pencil with your spoolie on one end and quite a thin little nib. I love me a good micro brow pencil. They're my favourite kind of brow pencils. The shade looks like it's a pretty decent brown colour. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in my brow with this pencil. Okay, so I filled in my brows with that pencil. I quite like it. It's come out pretty natural. You can get really precise with it because of the shape of it. I think it's done a pretty good job, to be fair. I've not really got much to complain about. It's not the most soft brow pencil. It is like a little bit sharp, but that doesn't really bother me too much because it's given like a natural brow. I think it's done a good job. I'm happy with it. Okay, so we're going to go and finish off the eyes now. I'm going to see if this highlighter shows up in my inner corner, actually. Showing up on like the top part of the inner corner, but not the bottom part, which kind of makes sense. So yeah, I'm probably not going to get the best under eye eyeshadow because of that powder obviously affecting pigmentation, but let's just give it a go. I mean, I was just planning on using the same green matte shade, so I'll probably start off with Mojo and then add a bit of this close to the lash line. That's all I'm really going to do. But whether it shows up or not over this powder, I don't know, but let's try. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add some mascara to my bottom lashes. Okay, so next I have actually got two lipsticks to try out. Well, it's the same lipstick, it's just in two different shades. These are their Attitude Creamy Matte Lipsticks, and I've got the shade Reckless and the shade Shrewd. So packaging looks like this. This is what the Reckless shade looks like. It's kind of like a sort of deeper browny kind of nude shade. And then Shrewd is like a very deep vampy purple shade. So I'm going to try out both of these, might as well. I think I'll do the more nude one first, and I think I'll stick with the more vampy shade because I feel like it'll probably go with these eyes quite well. Right, so I'm going in with Reckless first. So I feel like it's sort of kind of like semi-matte. Like it's not like super oily, super like creamy. I feel like kind of creamy matte probably is like a good like description of it because it is quite creamy. But like, and it is transferring a bit, to be fair. It's not the most matte. But it's more matte than some lipsticks I've tried that claim to be matte are. I like the shade. The form is pretty good. I would prefer it to be a little bit more matte, I think. But it's okay. I'm going to wipe it off and try the more vampy shade though. Okay, we're going to try the darker shade out now. Okay, I love the shade of that. It's a gorgeous, like, deep plum. I love the shade. Again, it's a similar sort of formula. It's just a little bit too moist. It's not matte enough for me, which is annoying because it's just a common problem I have. Matte lipsticks that aren't actually matte, and I just want them to be matte. I'm gonna go ahead and tap a bit of this mineral powder over the top to mattify it. See if that helps a bit. Okay, so that's the makeup. I'm gonna sort my hair out, and then I do have the setting spray to try, so I'll be back for that. Okay, we are back, looking a bit like a witch, but I'm cool with that. So lastly, got a setting spray to try. This is their Radiant Lasting Mist, which is apparently lightweight, illuminating, and retains moisture. I like all of those things. Let's give this a shake, and then I'm gonna just spray this all over my face. Give myself a bit of a fan because it was a bit intense. I don't know, has it done anything? Meh. I don't feel like my base really looks any different. Like it feels a bit different, like I feel a bit like wetter. I honestly don't really have much to say about that, to be honest. Okay, so this is our finished look. Full face testing Rude Cosmetics. I feel like it's been a little bit mixed. Some stuff that I've really enjoyed, some stuff that I'm not so sure about. So I definitely think my favourite thing I've tried is the eyeshadow palette. I'm obsessed with this green look. It just was amazing. I was so impressed with how it all performed. I can't wait to try the other colours. I definitely think I need to do like a pink look next. A pink, maybe a more sort of bluey purpley one, I don't know. I've got options, that's for sure. But yeah, eyeshadow palette's probably the thing I'm most impressed with. Really like the green eyeliner and the waterline. The black eyeliner was pretty good too. Really like the micro brow pencil. Really like all of the cheap products actually. The bronzer quite surprised me. I thought it actually worked pretty good. The blush is actually pretty nice. So is the sort of contoury shade in that palette. And obviously I couldn't really test the highlighter properly because this loose powder is affecting the pigment. But based on how it performed on my like nose, cupid's bow and chin, it is actually quite a nice highlighter. But the base products are a little average to me. The foundation was okay. I didn't dislike it, but I didn't love it. It was just sort of okay. Same with the concealer really. Like I just prefer a full coverage concealer, and I don't feel like it gave me full coverage, to be honest. I don't really like that loose powder I used under the eyes because it was a little bit patchy, a little bit oxidizing, and also, as I said, it just made my highlighter not show up, so I don't really think I like that loose powder. The pressed powder was okay. It's not got the most flawless finish, but it's done a decent job. It's mattified my face and the shade works, and it doesn't look like too heavy or anything, so it's an okay pressed powder, but not the best one I've tried, but it's actually done an okay job, I think. Obviously, I've still got to try this weird one. I might use it in my next rotation, Get Ready With Me. It said I also have another powder I want to use in that video, so I'm not sure. But I will use this at some point and talk about it. And the lipsticks, I think the shades were really nice and the pigmentation was fantastic, but I just wish that they were a bit more matte. Obviously this is fine now because I put a load of powder on it, but by itself it's just a little bit too creamy, which is just, oh, it's just annoying because I have this problem with a lot of lipsticks that say they're matte. I just want them to actually be matte, and they're just too creamy and then they just transfer. But I mean, obviously I can just tap a bit of powder over the top, it's not too big a deal, but yeah. That's that really. I'm overall pretty happy that I did pick up some products from this brand because there are some ones that I really like. There definitely are some products that I really like here. So all of these makeup products are going to be in my rotation now, and I'm going to use them over the next few months. And then I will do an updated makeup review on them, as well as all the other makeup that I've tried in August and September. So that will be out later this year. So that's it for this video, so thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye.